Good morning, everybody, and welcome. As you can see, we have the task of picking up trash, but what I first came out here to do was I need to start pruning, and I've been putting it off for too long. It's been too cold, found too many excuses. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to focus on some of the easiest, maybe not so important plants, and that would be these quince bushes, because as you can see, they're about to fruit, or they're going to start flowering here pretty soon. And we have a pathway here, it's pretty obvious. We want to trim the sides here. So with bushes like this, it's not too incredibly important that you make, I don't know, the most smartest, best, amazing cuts, because what we really want is for them to bush out. So really, I'm just trying to clear up this whole pathway here. And if a couple of things end up bushing out from that, that's fine, because with the walkway, I expect to be walking around and trimming these things throughout the year. So as you can see, cut this feller, that feller, and we even cut that and that. Oh, this is incredibly hard with holding the camera phone. We cut this and that and that. Okay, well, hopefully that came up on camera pretty well, but that is an easy, really entry-level way just to get into the swing of pruning. Prune something that has less value. All these plants grew up here on their own, so chopping them back, I'm less afraid that I'm going to lose them. And also, I'm reminded that it is really important that with bushing plants like this, that the more cuts the better. The thicker they'll grow, the more these flower buds and fruit-bearing buds will grow, and that will get me at least through this little way here. Let me walk around. Here's that same area from the opposite angle. You can see we have a bit of a walkway through here. Might still have some more trimming to do right here. And then we have an almond tree that's been nibbled on. We'll see how well that thing bounces back. And then we have over here, we have a whole bunch of stuff that just needs to be knocked down. And now that pathway is a little bit more open. Swing the camera around. This one is pretty good out of the way. Let me look. Here we have a mulberry. And we really want this mulberry, another tree that just showed up on its own. And we will, I don't know, we'll just cut it there. So that's a perfect case of too small of pruners for too big of a tree. So now I guess you know if you need to get out your saw or not. But a saw would make it a much cleaner cut and less damage, so I'll have to come back and fix that. But what I can do, toss that to the side, grab this, and cut that, and maybe just cut this all the way down. And kind of see how we're trying to open this up. I think this is a walnut, so I really don't mind cutting that back. We're going to top this, top that, kind of trim this stuff back. Nothing too artistic, nothing that requires too much thought. This is a mulberry that would grow, even if I cut it all the way to the ground. What I want it to do is to bush out a little bit more and be less of a shade-bearing tree. Whoop! More of a, oh geez. Well, what are the hazards of trying to videotape and trim at the same time? Okay, well, I hope all that kind of came through on the video. This video actually had a couple of purposes. Was one to get me outside, see how cold it is, and to kind of pop the cherry on pruning this year. Here's that mulberry right behind me, and it'll be perfectly fine. It's a mulberry, it grows back whenever, and these are lower value trees, like I said. So once I make a couple more videos coming out, I'll be focusing on doing pears, peaches, apples, and all sorts of different things. But it's good to get back outside again, and I hope that at least this might have helped you get over your initial fear of pruning because really it's just getting out there and doing it. I always forget, keep thinking that I'm gonna like kill a tree. It's not gonna grow back right, but any pruning is pretty much any good pruning. The only thing I would say is to leave, to not cut anything down to the ground. Maybe that'd be a good rule of thumb. But if you're dealing with like a maple or a mulberry or a walnut or an apple, probably a pear, some of these things just keep coming back. I mean, the root, everything's in the roots. So the only thing you're pruning back, is to make it a smaller tree so that the roots have, there's an offset between how much energy is going into the trees, so it spurs more growth. So that way you can change a branch that's going this way to one that's going that way. Also for walking space, you want to prune it for walking space. But I'm never really cutting off more than 30% of the tree, except for in the most rare cases. But even at 50%, I've had peaches come back no problem. So I want to thank you for watching. I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to go maybe do a little bit more focused pruning on some other trees. So thank you for watching, and I hope you guys are getting out and pruning.